Number 3, determine if the values are greater than, less than, or equal to 2/3. A, we have 1/3 plus 1/3. The fact that the denominators of 3 are the same for both fractions, we can just add the top and the bottom remains the same. 1 plus 1 on top and the 3 on the bottom remains the same. 1 plus 1 is 2 and the denominator of 3 remains the same. We compare this 2/3 from the 2/3 in the problem. We notice that it is equal to B, negative 1/3 plus 4/5. Here, the bottom numbers are not the same, so we cannot add or subtract them. Therefore, we have to find the least common multiple, or the least common denominator. 3 and 5 both multiply to make the number 15. So my goal is to turn the left one to have a denominator of 15, and the right one to have a denominator of 15. So on the left one, I multiply by 5 over 5, because I want to make the bottom value 15. This gets me negative 5 over 15. On my right hand side, the 4 over 5, I want the bottom number equaling to 15, so I multiply that by 3 over 3. 4 times 3 is 12 and the bottom is 15. Now, since the bottom, the denominators are the same of 15, I can now add the top and have the bottom remain the same. Negative 5 plus 12 is on top and the 15 remains on the bottom. Now I get the answer of 7 over 15 is that fraction added together. My problem is I want to compare that to the 2/3 in the answer. I cannot compare them because the 2/3 has a different denominator. It has a value of 3. So I want to turn that denominator equal to 15. So I would have to multiply by 5 to the top and 5 to the bottom. In this point, I get 10 over 15. Notice I do that, so now I can compare these two numbers, having the same denominator of 15. I notice that 7 over 15, it is less than 10 over 15. For C, I have 1/3 plus 2/5. When it is a multiplication, you can just multiply it across. 1 times 2 is on top, and the bottom is 3 times 5. 1 times 2 is 2, 3 times 5 is 15. Notice that the bottom number here is 15, so that 2/3 from before, I want to convert it into something that has a denominator of 15. From question B, I notice 2/3 is the same as 10 over 15. Now I can compare it. 2/5 is less than 10 over 15. D, I have a fraction dividing by a fraction. When you have ever a fraction dividing by another fraction, you should see it as a multiple of the reciprocal. The 1/5, the 1 over 5, changes to a 5 over 1 when the division symbol changes to a multiplication symbol. So this problem became 7 divided by negative 6 times 5 over 1. A division of a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. I can now multiply across 7 times 5, and the bottom is negative 6 times 1. That becomes negative 35 over 6. But notice, I need to compare this to the 2/3. The issue is the 2/3 has a different denominator. I want to make it into a different denominator to compare it. The 2/3 can change the denominator into the least common multiple of 6. So I multiply the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. The 2/3 turns into 4 over 6. It's not 12 over 6, 4 over 6. Okay, but that wouldn't matter because when it is 4 over 6, it is still going to be less than, because the negative 35 over 6 is a negative number. It's always going to be less than a positive value.